Hi, Aries, Sun, Moon, and Risings. Welcome to your July 2022 horoscope. My name is Cailin, and today I'm going to be covering the major transits ahead using tropical astrology and the whole sign system. So you can watch this horoscope if you are an Aries ascendant, sun, or moon. I do recommend that you watch all three horoscopes for the month because it will give you a more well-rounded idea of what you can expect for the month ahead. So essentially, the Aries horoscope will, generally speaking, be the most accurate for you overall. The Aries sun sign horoscope will pertain more to your life goals and your career, whereas you Aries moon people will find that this horoscope relates more to your family life, your emotional state of well-being, and also your personal relationships and property circumstances. And now let's get into what's happening in July. On the 2nd of July, Mars in Aries in your first house will square Pluto in Capricorn in your 10th house. So because you are ruled by the planet Mars and Mars is actually in your sign, you are going to feel this quite strongly. And also, I don't want you guys to freak out about this particular transit because we do experience Mars square Pluto every year. Essentially, though, because Pluto is in your 10th house, somehow this is bringing up themes surrounding your career, your status, your life goals, as well as your worldly responsibilities. So essentially, this can see you experiencing some sort of inner or perhaps even outer crisis, which is concerned with what you want to do with your life, how you want to be seen professionally speaking and in the public eye. You may be wanting to wipe the slate clean, so to speak, with your professional image and with the industry that you're currently working in. And some of you may be having some very deep and profound revelations about what you want to be doing with your career. So, on a different level, you can be experiencing radical changes to your public image, and this really carries the sense of tossing out the old to make way for the new. Now, on a different level, the 10th house represents authority figures, large corporations, the government, as well as your father. So, because Mars represents you and what you're doing, and Pluto can represent very powerful figures, this can see you wanting to confront one or more of these individuals or organizations. Perhaps you're wanting to expose them. Maybe you're wanting to bring some sort of toxic or untoward energy to the light. And essentially, you may be wanting to destroy or get rid of this connection or relationship altogether. This can see you working to bring down a large corporation or someone who is in a position of power who has been abusing their power, whether this has impacted you personally or perhaps this is you wanting to take action on behalf of another person. Essentially, this can see you fighting back, reclaiming your power, and confronting someone or something which has been trying to exert control and dominance over you. Something to bear in mind is that we experienced a conjunction between Mars and Pluto on the 3rd of March earlier this year. So that was at 27 degrees in Capricorn, and this is the opening square to that. So this is the, I guess you could say, the first chapter, which is a continuation of whatever was starting back in early March. On the 5th of July, Mars is going to enter the sign of Taurus. So wherever Mars goes, this represents you and what you are doing. So essentially, Mars will spend about 7 or so weeks in Taurus in your second house. And this represents what you are putting your energy towards, what you are focusing on, what you want to take action in terms of, the second house topics, which are finances, budgeting, new streams of income, and your spending habits. And we're also going to be looking at your diet, food, and your wardrobe and possessions. Okay, so over the next 7 or so weeks, you may be putting your energy into generating a new stream of income. Maybe you are coming up with a strategy to earn more money. Maybe you are personally putting in efforts to earn more money at this time. So it could be that during this period of time, you're either earning more money, I should say, or you're looking at ways which can help you to earn more money and increase your earning capacity. Now, with the second house representing your finances and budgeting, you could be taking care of financial matters around this time. You could be very proactive in what you're doing with your finances. You could be opening a new bank account. You could be changing financiers. You could be learning about what you can do to save money or where you should be investing your money. You could actually be working on separating your mutual resources from another person. And I'm saying this because Mars rules over your 8th house, which represents your mutual resources, and yet it is in your second house, which is your personal finances and resources. So you could be trying to separate your resources or your assets from another person. Now, when Mars enters the second house, this is when we can be spending a lot of money. So I've noticed this for myself, that when I had Mars go through my second house, I was just like tappity tapped with my credit card, spending like crazy. So on one hand, you may need to spend money on things. On another hand, you could just be very quick to buy stuff, and this could be stuff that you don't need. So just be very conscious of that. And certainly you could have to spend a large sum of money unexpectedly or out of the blue during this period of time. Now, with the second house representing food and our material possessions, valuables, and our wardrobe, this can see you working on a new diet to transform your appearance. Because Mars is your ruling planet, you could have a lot of success in transforming your appearance, cutting out foods, and changing your diet in a very short period of time, so within like a 2-month window. On a different level, the second house rules over your mouth, so you could be cutting out a smoking habit, or you could have some success in stopping biting your nails during this period of time. Lastly, the second house represents our possessions, like I mentioned. So when Mars goes through your second house, this can see you cleaning out your wardrobe, clearing out old possessions and valuables that you no longer have a desire to keep, or which no longer have a purpose. So one note on that though, wherever Mars goes, this is where we can experience an accident or some sort of misfortune. So just be careful with your possessions and with your favorite garments, because this can see you accidentally breaking a possession or, destroying a piece of clothing unintentionally. So on the 13th of July, Venus is going to make a trine to Saturn. So Venus will be in Gemini in your 3rd house, and it will trine Saturn in Aquarius in your 11th house at 24 degrees. So trines are really positive aspects which can have a very beneficial impact on us. They can represent things going smoothly and fluidly, and we can also experience some sort of blessing with trines, and it's 11:11 as I'm saying this right now. So the 3rd house and the 11th house are both social houses, and Venus represents relationships. So with the trine to Saturn indicating a solidifying of something here, this can represent you solidifying new friendships. So you could be forming really close friendships with another person, or some really solid business connections, or maybe these are new relationships that are forming with co-workers. Now, this can see you receiving help from friends, or perhaps this could be help and assistance from a sibling, given that the third house represents your siblings as well as your friends. Now, the 11th house represents your long-term goals and projects. So this could see you receiving help from them with respect to a long-term goal that you're working on. Now, with Saturn ruling over your 10th house, which represents your career, this could see you working really hard on something that you love that is going to benefit your career or your status in the long term. Or you could be putting what you've learned into practice in a really solid way or in a long-term way. So the 11th house represents our wider audience, our connections, our social network, and also it represents technology, as does the third house. So this can represent your fan base, for example, with a YouTube channel solidifying or you receiving enough of a following or enough support for you to start making some sort of passive income or residual income. So if this isn't, for example, getting monetized on YouTube, maybe this is receiving support from a benefactor for a Kickstarter program or someone just supporting your long-term goals and dreams. Now, lastly, this could see you being invited to collaborate with someone in a very official sense. So perhaps this will involve contracts. Maybe you'll be working with someone who is more experienced or someone who's actually just older than you. This could be an age gap of like 7 years or more, or it could be you working with someone who is younger but who is very experienced. Now, on the 17th/18th of July, depending where you live in the world, Venus is going to enter the sign of Cancer, and this is going to be in your 4th house. So wherever Venus goes, this is where we can experience some sort of blessing or things going really well, or we can have a lot of enjoyment from wherever Venus is transiting. So with the 4th house representing property, family, and also your emotional state of well-being, this can see you experiencing some sort of harmony in this department. So with respect to property, you could be enjoying luxuriating in your home. You could be decorating your home or furnishing it or purchasing new art for your home. Someone could actually be moving in with you, especially because Venus rules over your 7th house, which represents your one-on-one relationships. Your significant other could be moving in with you, or it could simply be a friend. Now, this could see you purchasing a property. And I'm saying this because Venus rules over your 2nd house, which represents your finances, and it also rules over your 7th house, which represents contracts. And of course, with Venus in your 4th house, this can see you securing a new property. Even if you're not buying a property, you could actually be renting a new property. And in any case, I would expect this property to be very beautiful, something which brings you a lot of joy and a lot of peace. Now, on the family front, over the next 3 or 4 weeks from the 17th of July, this could see you enjoying more family time. You could be entertaining family in your home, or you could even just be having friends over to the home. So it could be a more social period of time for you. You could be enjoying cooking for the family, and you could be having visitors to your home, and they could be giving you a gift. So maybe you receive a gift when someone visits your home. You could receive gifts for your home. And on a different level, your 4th house represents your significant other's 10th house. I'm not going to go into the complexities of that, but for those of you who are in a committed relationship, this can see your partner experiencing some sort of success in their career, or perhaps recognition on a public level or at a professional level. Now, we've only got 2 more transits for the month. I'm trying to keep this month shorter than the last couple months. Essentially, on the 28th/29th of July, Jupiter is going to station retrograde in the sign of Aries in your 1st house at 8 degrees. So Jupiter spends about 5 months being retrograde every year. So it will be retrograde until the end of October. And because this is in your first house, you are going to feel the shift, especially if you are an Aries within the first decan. So from 0 degrees to 9 degrees, those of you who have your Aries sun, moon, or rising around this point will feel it more so than the rest of you Aries. So this can see you integrating what you've learned and what you've experienced since about the 10th of May, which is when Jupiter first entered the sign of Aries. Now, this can see you experiencing restrictions or limitations, or just having the general sense that your freedom is limited in some respect. And this can be with regard to your travel opportunities and plans, wanting to go on adventures, your higher education or further education of some sort, or perhaps this is to do with your beliefs. And for some of you, this could pertain to your political, religious, or spiritual beliefs. So if you experienced the initial kernel or spark of an idea between the 10th of May and, let's say, the end of June, this can see you now doing the work on that. So maybe you initiated some sort of project. You could have made plans to travel abroad. You could have made plans to go on some sort of journey or pilgrimage, whether that is personal, spiritual, or religious. You could have made plans to study further. Maybe you enrolled in a university or college, or perhaps you applied for or perhaps you decided you wanted to apply for a master's program or a PhD program, and now you're having to do the work to actually be approved in your enrollment. Now, this can see you going inwards and doubling down on the knowledge that you have obtained since, again, the 10th of May. Essentially, Jupiter retrograde periods are a time for inner reflection, and this is when our access to travel is not as easy or straightforward as when Jupiter is direct. Just to sum that up for you, whatever you have initiated between the 10th of May and essentially the end of July, you can pick this back up once we get to just before Christmas, when Jupiter will re-enter the sign of Aries. Now, lastly, for the month, we are going to see the Uranus, North Node, and Mars conjunction in the sign of Taurus at 18 degrees in your second house. Now, Uranus and North Node will be exactly conjunct, but Mars is going to be trailing behind a little bit at 17 degrees. But because these planets and these, placements, I should say, are so close together, Mars is still going to be having a hand in how this plays out for you. Now, Uranus and the North Node only make a conjunction once every 15 years approximately. So this is not something that we see every day, and this will be essentially the start of a new chapter for you. Now, because this is taking place in your second house, your finances will be the focus. Your material possessions will be the focus. Your resources will be the focus. And let me just go through what Uranus and the North Node and Mars represent as energies before I go through a few different ways that this can play out for you. Uranus represents some sort of sudden download of information. It can represent a crisis. It can represent large groups of people, rebellion, riots, things happening out of the blue in an unexpected manner. It does have a volatile energy to it as well, but it can bring about things that are exciting. It can indicate innovations, inventions, and technological advancements. And also, this can see you having a sudden knowledge of a very complex system. So when I mention a download of information, it's like you getting the full picture of something that you want to initiate or pursue. Now, the North Node has a similar energy to Uranus in that they can both represent new technology, some sort of technological advancement. They are both very experimental. They like novelty and new things, and they both are connected to scandals or receiving some sort of recognition on a large level for doing something which is very progressive or very avant-garde. Now, because Mars is your ruling planet, this represents you and what you are pursuing and what you are doing. So this can see you experiencing a total shakeup with respect to your money and your finances and knowing what you want to do with these in the long term. You may have to spend a lot of money really suddenly or abruptly. Now, on one hand, this could be because you are capitalizing on some sort of new opportunity which can see you basically taking care of your finances in the long term. Now, I'm saying this because Uranus rules over your 11th house, which is also a money house in astrology. And we've got Mars ruling over your 8th house, which is another money house, and it rules over your mutual resources. So this can see you spending money to capitalize on opportunities in the future. This could be to do with cryptocurrencies, the stock market, speculative investments, joining forces with another person. This could see you taking money out of long-term deposits, or maybe you're cashing some of your cryptos in order to purchase some sort of resource or valuable or possession. Now, I just want to track back a little bit to the fact that this is a new 15-year cycle that is starting. So it could be that you are working on some sort of long-term plan or long-term goal. And again, this would be represented by Uranus ruling over your 11th house, not just the 15-year cycle. Because this is occurring in your second house and it is involving Mars, which represents engineering and innovation, and then we've got Uranus in the North Node representing innovation as well, this could see you inventing something new or innovating something new. And this could be connected to finances, money, resources, gardening. Maybe you're looking at being a part of some sort of community where you all share your resources around. This could see you inventing something new which is connected to the things that the second house rules over, such as the five senses. So maybe this is cooking, new recipes. This could be something to do with dentistry. This could be something to do with the five senses in terms of skincare products, perfume, and something to do with sight and vision as well. So this could have some sort of medical implication here because the 18th degree is the Virgo degree. So the Virgo degree is connected to the medical industry. It is connected to debts and loans and being of service to other people. So you can see how all of these things are tying in together. So basically, this conjunction will take place on the 31st of July, but we're going to experience the effects quite strongly for, I would say, the week or two leading up to the conjunction and the week or two after. So let's just say from the middle of July through till the middle of August. So I would be paying attention to what is coming up for you during this period of time. And I would also encourage you to have a very flexible attitude and approach towards your finances, your valuables, and your resources. And some of you may have an opportunity to sell a lot of your possessions or maybe your wardrobe to a larger group or community to make a quick buck. In any case, that's all I have for you for July 2022. If you enjoyed this horoscope, please give the video a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more content on this channel, please hit the subscribe button. Enjoy your month ahead, Aries, and I will see you guys in August.